All right. I'm not really sure if this would actually ping anybody. We're going live for the first time ever. I've got Byron, my full-time video guy here, and we're testing out this Blackmagic Pro A10 Mini Pro, and we're getting ready to do some exciting stuff. We actually are going to have a podcast coming up, and we're going to be sharing stories of different entrepreneurs, how they got started in business, what they've done to actually grow, because we want to help empower more people to become an entrepreneur. Want to help more people move upward and forward in their careers, in life. Byron, introduce yourself to all of these. It's probably bookkeepers, accountants, and folks here.
I apologize. The camera we're using right now has an 85 millimeter.
He's looking good, man. He's looking real good.
Putting my face like right in front of you guys. But yeah, I'm Rob's new full-time video guy. Nice to meet you guys. Hopefully I get to see more and do more with Rob.
Yeah. So we needed to go live one time just to see what it actually looks like. And here's what I wanted to do. Today I took a phone call with a guy who's just awesome. He's a small entrepreneur. He's a little bookkeeper, right? And I've been sharing this with Byron that I get all these different people calling in to start their own accounting, bookkeeping, and tax firm. They're trying to do what I call this outsourced accountant model. And the whole idea there is that rather than just be your typical tax firm where all you're doing is doing tax returns, you're kind of going down this route where you're doing the commoditized labor and all you're doing is competing with TurboTax. And it's a downward spiral. They're trying to add more value. And that's really the core of this whole thing is how do you find ways to make their life better? So if you're an accountant or a bookkeeper, how do you help make their life better? How do you help actually impact their finances? How do you serve as much more than just their bookkeeper or their accountant? And so I took a phone call today, and this guy, I'm also creating this new system to do inexpensive websites, inexpensive marketing. And basically the goal is to kind of bridge this gap between one side, you have kind of a high-end premium design on a website and tons of messaging. And then on the other side, you have do it yourself, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's unhelpful to just like, well, you either pay us a ton of money or you go do it yourself. So what I'm trying to do is bridge the gap. And I've created this thing called Zip CPA. And essentially what it is it's just meant to be a good, inexpensive solution where for a couple $100, between $500 and $1,000, we will sit down and we will get you a website that is the caliber that some of the big sites are going to have. We've done a lot of this work around internal temp. Too high. Oh, the camera went down.
Yeah, the camera.
We'll just go with your camera then. And basically what we're looking at here is helping people get more out of their digital presence. And anyways, we had this guy called in, right? And he asked me, he says, let's see if this works.
It works. Yeah.
It does go. Here, you can film me. We'll go live this way, right? And so he gives me a call. And we've been talking a couple times. He's like, Rob, I've been doing all this research. Yeah, there we go. Do I look good? Yeah. You can see every single, look at this beard, you guys. It's so glorious. So much beard. This is as much beard. It's so many, there's white hairs in there like crazy. Anyways, he's like, Rob, I've been doing all this homework about Squarespace or WordPress versus this Webflow system that you want to put me on. And this Webflow system doesn't seem like it's that great compared to WordPress, because everywhere I go, I blog and I find out that WordPress is the cat's meow and WordPress is the best, right? You with me, Byron?
I am.
Does the live stream work?
Yeah,
and,
I think it does.
And so anyways, he's like, everywhere I read, I hear that WordPress is way better than anything else that I'm going to get set up on. And I had to explain, this is a big question that people have. What is the difference between WordPress, Squarespace, Wix? You've got GoDaddy, you got all these different places where you can create a website. Now, here's the main thing that I want you to know. First of all, if you go with WordPress, Squarespace, Webflow is a great solution. That's what we use. You could also go with GoDaddy, Site Builder. You can use just about any tool right now, and they're all pretty good. It's not going to be a huge deal. I prefer Squarespace and Webflow. WordPress isn't bad, but the first thing that I would let you know is that any research that you do, you're going to find out that WordPress is the best. And the reason why you're going to learn that is because there's this whole game around affiliate marketing. And so people make money from theme companies and plugin companies, these companies that build themes and plugins for WordPress. They have systems where you can earn big commissions by if you were to write like the 10 best WordPress theme article, right? And all of a sudden, your article starts to rank. Somebody comes to that article, they're like, oh, this is the best WordPress theme. They click on it and they end up buying this $200 or $60 or whatever it is. They'll actually earn a commission, right? Well, Squarespace kind of has that. Squarespace has sponsorships. They certainly have an affiliate program. I found out that the affiliate program doesn't work here in Minnesota because our taxes are too complex. It was super annoying, actually. I was like, hey, we're going to start using that. So the first thing you need to know is that just generally speaking, you're going to see this like echo chamber of people saying that WordPress is the best thing ever. And it's not necessarily the best thing ever. So just so you know, that's a thing. The second thing is that WordPress is not super easy. There's multiple things you have to pay attention to. You have to get hosting. You have to set it up. You have to make sure the plugins are all installed. It's kind of annoying. It's not super turnkey. So yeah, this guy had read that WordPress was the best. This is kind of on the fly content. Just so you know, I'm just making this up right now. Like literally,
good stuff.
We're trying out this new hardware. And anyways, I just told him, dude, WordPress isn't that bad. It's not that great. I would go, if you're looking for a super good, inexpensive solution, the least expensive solution that's turnkey, not going to leave you screwing around. Go Squarespace.
Squarespace, okay.
I like Squarespace. We've also built a suite system where we can do this custom build, and then it has just a deeper SEO to it. It's cleaner, it's faster, and that's on Webflow. But if you've been reading, you're trying to figure out if you're just starting a business, how do I actually start my own website? You can do it for free on a thing called Google Sites within your Google My Business, or I would go to Squarespace. And if you want help setting up and getting the communication up right for that and like crafting the messaging so that it works, totally give us a call. Go to feedbackwrench.com. We'd love to help you. But that's our first live stream. There is one person here. I'm not sure who this is.
My mom.
I've never done live chat. So live chat to one person. Got any questions? I guess if you've got any questions, I'd love to hear them as I test out this whole system for the very first time. And okay, so we got Tesfa. Hello, Tesfa. What do you do for a living, Tesfa? You had a question for me. I don't know if you've ever watched any of my videos. If you had a question for me, ask a question. That'd be more interesting. This is so invigorating. Tesfa, you got to help me out, man. You got to ask me a question. I'm a student. Okay. So you're my first live chat person ever. Can you tell I'm 38 years old and I'm not like super hip and I'm trying to do that? But okay, so you're a student. And it'd be fun. We're going to start. So long story short, we're going to start doing more call-ins. We're going to start doing more Ask an Entrepreneur. Man, that's something that I know I want to do. And I want to hear what are the things that you're trying to accomplish. Tesfa, I'd love to hear. I don't know. I guess it depends on what you actually heard. And so how hard is it to start a QuickBook business? That's a great question. So how hard is it? It's pretty easy. A couple of things that you're going to see if you get good at QuickBooks. Tesfa, I got a quick question for you. Are you domestic here in the United States, or are you one of the international folks that watch my stuff? Are you in the US here? This is invigorating for you to watch, I'm sure. If you're, I never watch live streams. I always watch them afterwards. So I never tune into a live stream, but there's 5 people here. Cool. So Tesfa was asking, how hard is it to start a QuickBook business? I'd love to hear. So he's in Illinois. Okay. So that just helps a little bit because I get a ton of people reaching out internationally and they're like, hey, we have amazing credentials. I know how to do this. Can you hook me up with domestic US customers? And I was like, that's a whole other can of worms. If you're watching this, shoot me an email. I'd love to talk about that and what it would actually take. But how hard is it to start your own QuickBooks? The first shift that you have to understand, you're in one of 2 positions. Either one, you're fully employed somewhere else, right? And you're going to start a side gig, or 2, you're just going to launch in and start your own business all by yourself. which is hard. Now, if you're a student and you're a little bit younger, maybe you have some financial margin. If you don't drink too much beer and you don't screw around and you don't spend all your money on things and you put your time, maybe do some house hacking or something, maybe you can get some margin so that you can just start. But I would assume you probably have another job if you're thinking of doing this. So that's usually one of the two situations that you have. In order to start doing bookkeeping, just like any business, my immediate recommendation is that your first goal is to simply get some repetition. You want to find some people that you can actually answer or actually help a little bit, right? So the goal would be, first of all, open your Google My Business account. Even if you haven't started this, if you're just thinking of doing this, create a little business plan, make a little business name, right? It could be Tesfa's Bookkeeping. It could be so simple. And once you establish that, go open a Google My Business page and a Facebook page. And then what I would do is I would start, the easiest things that you can do is to start on Upwork. So Upwork is a good place to start. You can go on to Fiverr and some of these other online ones or online marketplaces. That if you just open that and give that a shot, that's okay. But what you're going to find is most people are going to be pretty cynical of you. Another thing, so what you'll want to do is find a way to get these reps under your belt. Usually what you'd want to do is I would call around to the local CPA accounting and bookkeeping firms in your area. Once you get them on the line, you could call them up. Hey, Joe CPA. Hi, my name's Tesfa. I would, and I hope I'm saying that right. My name's Rob. It's pretty easy to say Rob. Sorry. It's about the most plain vanilla thing you could ever be named. But call around to a couple of shops and say, hey, I'm not looking for a job, but I do bookkeeping. And if you ever have clients that need help with bookkeeping, I'd love to get some hours, right? And what you could do is your first customers could be other accounting, tax, and bookkeeping firms so that you could actually just get some repetitions under your belt. Another great option for you to do is to go out and start calling on all the real estate agents. Real estate agents are notorious for being people that need help. This is how I started our business. We started Nuance Financial Tax and Accounting by, and just, if you have any other questions, there's 8 of you on here. I would love to hear other questions. If you've got anything about starting a business, starting an accounting firm, whatever it is, or maybe you're just somebody that knows me, then you should say hi. Sorry, this is so punched into my face. But the other thing I would do is reach out to the real estate agents around you. Keep the work simple. And the first couple of things that you're going to do is, hey, I was wondering, do you have somebody to do your QuickBooks? Are your books kept up to date? And you'll want to run a simple meeting cycle. When you're starting a business, you want to identify what's your thing that you're charging for. Hey, I'll do your bookkeeping for you. Okay. Is it going to be an ongoing bookkeeping or is it going to be a one-time catch up? What does that look like? So what I would do is I would reach out to people who are disorganized, who are making commissions. You want to be on the hunt for anyone that earns 1099 income. If you can find people that earn 1099 income, then you're going to find people that probably need your help. That's the number one thing. So real estate agents are really good salespeople. You could go around to video marketers, guys like me actually could be good. Video production, medical interpreters. Yeah, any 1099 income jobs that you'll see out there, a ton of construction guys. And so that would be the first step. Now, the reason why I'm just going in and saying get some reps and find some people to help. So he says, I know a person who owns multiple transportation trucks. Yeah, that could be, let me get onto that a little bit. So again, the initial question was, how hard is it to start your own QuickBooks business? I don't think it's hard at all. In fact, you could probably call around and just be an outsourced bookkeeper for other tax and accounting firms. Like you could go to Nuance Financial right now, my old firm, which they're good guys. We have a little bit of whatever weird history, but I know that a lot of firms are looking for people that understand how to do bookkeeping. And you could approach them and actually ask them, hey, I got a question for you. I just do an hourly rate. You don't need to put me on the W-2. I do this for other companies. Can I be your subcontractor to do some bookkeeping? And that would be an excellent way for you to kind of get started and get some repetitions. Now, you have to, the main goal whenever you're doing these initial startups for your business is you've got to get people giving you reviews. And you hear that in all my videos, but I'm telling you, if you don't have any reviews, you're really hurting yourself. It's almost like you're it's falling through your hands. Like you're not capturing the trust that you've earned. And in the beginning, when you're getting going, your main thing is you need to get sales and then execute. And then what will happen is that will help you build up your resume in terms of Facebook and Google reviews and client testimonials. And that will help you have credibility for your customer. But another thing, and Byron, maybe you could chime in here, because I think it's relevant in the video world too, is as you start to get some reps under your belt, after you get your first couple of video jobs, or in this case, accounting or bookkeeping or QuickBooks stuff, all of a sudden you start to believe yourself that you can do this. And you're not only do you feel more are you more credible to other people because you've got results in Google, but all of a sudden you start to like believe that you're able to do it.
Would you say that the the business of opening your own QuickBook is very word of mouth, or how do you gain steam?
Yeah, good question. Right now, to get more business, everybody's like, hey, you got to do word of mouth. Tesfa here just said, I know a person who owns multiple transportation trucks. Owner-operator trucks are a great spot to go. Here's what I would do. The way you get business is you have to intersect into these business owners' lives. You can't just sit back, and this is a hard thing. Most of you that are good at QuickBooks and accounting and tax stuff, you're just generally not pushy people, which is good, right? You're not overly aggressive. You're generally hardwired to kind of think like an accountant or an engineer, right? But one of the things that you have to do is you have to identify who around you can you intersect into their life and show them what you do and give them the opportunity to actually like go through your process. So your question, Byron, is when you're doing these businesses, is it best to do word of mouth? Well, word of mouth is great, but you have to have somebody you've done work for them to actually give you word of mouth, right?
How do you reach out to them? Facebook or websites, or what would be the best method?
You guys, if you're trying to grow your business right now, I cannot emphasize this enough. Call and email. Okay. I am the webmaster on scores of websites, and I see how often every business gets spam requests for either people to do their bookkeeping for them or to do their marketing for them or whatever. If you're a chicken skit and I don't want to face discomfort and make a sales call. What you will resort to is shooting off those LinkedIn messages, which obviously they work sometimes because they do them to me nonstop. I get so many LinkedIn spam messages. It's just frustrating. We got another question here from Tesfa, but in order to get clients, what I would do is I would sit down on Google and I would search whatever niches you think would be good. And I think construction, transportation, real estate agents.
Yeah.
And if you can diligently call them, and so it would look something like this. So you call, and we don't want a big commitment. All we're trying to do is introduce ourselves. Okay. So what I would do is I would write up an email. I would make maybe a little video, right? I've been encouraging lots of guys to do this. Create a little video where all of a sudden you're like, hey, everybody, my name is Tesfa. I do QuickBooks. I do bookkeeping. And here's my hook, right? You want to hook them a little bit. So make this email and a little video. Call somebody up. Hey, Joe, how you doing? Joe, I know you own your own trucking company there. My name is Rob, and I live down the road here, but I have my own little accounting and tax firm. And I was wondering if I could just send you an email and introduce myself to you, because I'd love to earn your business someday. Nah, I'm all right. Okay, cool. Appreciate your time. Or, yeah, I don't see why you can't do that. Okay, cool. What's your email? And then what you do is you get their email, you send them the email, and then you can follow up a couple of times, right? So that's how you get clients. Now, Tesfa's asking, I just want to stay relevant here. Tesfa said, do I need a QuickBooks certification? Here's what's going to happen. You need to be able, so this comes up, not only do you need a QuickBooks certification, but a lot of people will be asking, do I need my CPA? Do I need to become an enrolled agent? Do I need to actually get some sort of certification? And certifications are weird. I would say on one side, it's good to have the certifications. Intuit's QuickBooks Pro Advisor program isn't necessarily super difficult to get. I think that program is actually almost kind of a pay-to-play thing, but you can get in there and become a pro advisor. And I don't think it's very hard. I think it'd be worth it. That being said, the QuickBooks certifications are generally more about understanding QuickBooks than it is to make sure that you understand the foundations of accounting. Now, just so you know, I am more of I help people build businesses in accounting, and I know enough of tax and accounting and bookkeeping to participate and be very, very dangerous, but I am not a CPA. I am the other side. I'm the yin to the CPA's yang is what it is. But I would say that you don't need QuickBooks certification. You need to be able to actually produce results. You need to be able to do books well, right? And what's really funny is when you get into these certification programs, sometimes you're going to understand how to do all sorts of things that you're never going to touch. Here, and so this is a good transitioning point too. Starting a QuickBooks business is one kind of business you can create, but all of my videos are about not being a commodity and not doing what low-skilled labor does. And I mean this nicely. If you build a business off of just bookkeeping, what you're going to find is that you are very quickly going to be up against Merit Bookkeeping, Zendu. You've got QuickBooks Online actually has its own bookkeeping service in there. And so now you're up against Intuit. You're up against corporations that are spending gobs of money, and you can get bookkeeping done for you very inexpensively. Now, on the other side, I know in the YouTube universe right now, in the link or in our little niche, right? Those of us that are bookkeepers and accountants trying to start our own little business, there are all sorts of people talking about how great it is to do books while you're in Thailand and while you're out vacationing and you're young and you can work remotely and it's glorious. It's great. I agree with a lot of that. But here would be my suggestion is that make sure that you're trying to do much more value-added work. You'll hear me over and over talk about find ways to do the 3 value propositions that I hammer on the most. And the 3 buckets are: 1 is that you help mitigate taxes and build wealth. 2, you help you save them time by being a staff alternative. And that's by doing the stuff for them, right? And number 3, you help keep them compliant and mitigate their risk. Because if you can do that, then you're doing so much more than Zendu. You're doing so much more than Merit Bookkeeping. You're doing so much more than these commoditized bookkeepers. And that's what they need. I'm a business owner. And yeah, I want my books kept up to date, but not really. You know what I really want to do? I need to make the right choices for my business. I need to know where I am financially. And doggone it, when it becomes tax season, I need to make sure that things are done right. And the bottom line for most business owners, if you were to go ask every construction guy that I've ever worked with or real estate agent, they're usually, hey, I just need to make sure that I pay my fair share in taxes and not a penny more. And I don't want to mess with this stuff. It sucks life from me. It genuinely does. So at its most minimum, that's what you want to do. But this morning I took a call with Ariel, this really cool entrepreneur. I think he's out of, ironically, it was Michigan, I think. I can't remember where he was. And he was calling me and asking about websites, right? And because he's trying to grow his business and head upward and forward. And what we saw was, and real quick, if you got any questions, please ask in the chat here. I'm not ask in the chat. Questions. And it's what I was talking. Where was I with that?
Ariel.
Yeah, but what was it about him?
You guys were checking out his website and you were trying to help him out, mitigate or.
Yeah. Oh, so staying away from this commoditized work, really what it has to come down to is you want to find these groups of people whose time is more valuable. And a couple of indicators that'll pop up. So if all you do is go down the road of trying to do inexpensive bookkeeping for companies whose time is not that valuable, you're not going to find good clients. They're not going to want to pay you very much because you're not solving a very hard problem. However, if you can find people whose time is worth a little bit more, and this is really up in my face, whose time is worth a little bit more, who have a more complex situation and usually have more tax consequence, they're going to be more interested in hiring you. So if you can identify businesses, that have employees you're going to be in a much better position. So anywhere between 2 and 10 employees, because me paying 3 employees, I am used to large amounts of money getting sucked out of my account, right? That's just the truth. And the other thing that will happen is even if you hire somebody for $15 to $30 an hour, when you are faced with that versus I could hire you for $800 a month, that's a significant savings for me.
Mhm.
And so again, what I'm suggesting here is that you find a way to serve as a staff alternative, find people who are thinking about maybe getting an accountant and a bookkeeper, an accounts receivable, an accounts payable clerk, somebody who needs help doing all this, maybe wants to process their payroll.
Mhm.
If you find them and you solve that problem, they'll pay you $1,500 a month and you'll be able to get done 2 days a week or 1 day a week what their staff person would putz around and do. And I'm telling you guys, this is real. I built a business, 150 small businesses here in the South Metro at Nuance Financial. It worked really well. I got another question here from Lady Hawk. This is kind of fun. There's 8 of you on here. Thanks for joining me. Maybe this will be so. We're going to start doing more Ask an Entrepreneur. I'm going to have friends and guests come in here and talk about things. But Lady Hawk asks, hi, I have completed a bookkeeping course and would like to start my own business, but I don't have experience. How do I get started while working full time? So a lot of the same stuff. First of all, what I would do is I would buy my course for $500. I got a nice little $500 course that I think is above the $10,000 courses out there.
I think it's worth way more than 500 for, from all the information that you give out.
I'm also building zipcpa.com. And what it is it's meant to be inexpensive websites, inexpensive marketing for folks just like you, because you're all in the same situation. But here's what I would do. Tesfa, it was good answering your questions. How do you get started? What I would do is I would start side gig stuff. So you got to find some people that you can just do work with that have these problems. Anybody that has 1099 income, like I mentioned, real estate agents, little consultants, doggone it, you could do Uber drivers. You can do just about anybody. People that do Upwork, go find web designers, graphic designers, get up on Upwork. So here's the little secret. Go on Upwork and start searching around the types of professions that are on Upwork because they're gig economy employees, right? And what you can do is, what I recommend is you want to find people to just have some success and get a couple of transactions going, right? And I would start small. So what I would do is I would find people that have a problem that you're willing to try out. And those first conversations need to be really, really humble. So I'll be frank. I started both of our businesses, both Nuance Financial Tax and Accounting and Feedbackwrench Marketing and Websites. Both of them we started by putting to test a theory that I had that if something's valuable, doggone it, I'm going to give it away for free a couple times. And then I'm just going to slowly raise my rates until I figured it out. And that's exactly what we did at Nuance, and it's exactly what we did at Feedbackwrench. I just started building websites and doing marketing for people, called up some guys. I'm like, hey, here's the deal. I'm starting out as a bookkeeper. Well, the tax thing was a little bit different because I had a CPA. Here's what I would do. Hey, I'm a bookkeeper, and I'm starting to do a lot of side hustle bookkeeping. I'm not sure if your books are always up to date, but I was wondering, could I help you get your books up to date and kind of get them cleaned up? And I don't know, maybe just help you get ready for this tax season. I'm looking to charge very little because experience means more to me than anything. Maybe $200, I'd be able to do that for you. Or you can go on to the Upworks, and I keep saying Upwork because that's where I hire my people. Go to Upwork, go to Fiverr, go to some of these, what are the other ones? You got Thumbtack. They're kind of tough, but the idea is just find people to do anything at first that has to do with financial services. The easiest way, I bet, where you could easily get some work, even as a side gig, rather than go to businesses, go to firms that just need help with their stuff. So the easiest way, if you wanted to have a side gig little economy and you know how to do bookkeeping and accounting, I would call up other tax and accounting firms. Just be frank with them. Hey guys, I'm a bookkeeper and I work with other accountants and bookkeepers just to do their bookkeeping. I don't know, do you use QuickBooks Online? If you do, I can help you stay up. Here's what I charge. I charge $30 an hour, or I charge per day or per job or whatever that is. But you need to set the expectation. Tell them, and I'm trying to build my own little business. So hopefully when I'm done with this, you guys would want to provide a good review. So you could be like a subcontractor for another company And that way it's low risk for you. It's low risk for them. It's pretty simple. Another thing that you would do is just go find, new insurance agents. So independent insurance agents live off of commissions and they earn 1099 income. If they're with a bigger company, they're usually getting it through W-2. So I know like Thrivent Financial, Mass Mutual, a lot of the like State Farm, you get hired as an employee, but there's this whole other realm of independent financial consultants, insurance people. If they're in an independent firm in particular, they will almost always be making 1099 income. So just go find 1099 income sectors, right? So insurance, marketing, video people, wedding people, and just help them get ready for year end is probably the easiest way. The fact of the matter is if you come to the realization, this is how you're going to get more work. You need to come to the realization that on one side you have a business owner getting full-fledged, amazing services from an accounting firm. Then on the other side, you have, or I do it myself in TurboTax, right? On one, you could bridge the gap, right? Move it way over and say, I tell you what, I'm going to help you. I just want to help you get your books cleaned up and charge them a couple $100 and get a couple reps under. But here's the catch. That's going to do two things. One, it's going to give you the opportunity to get Google reviews. And I'm going to keep saying it again and again. Open your Google My Business. It's google.com/business. Pick a business name, get a little domain if you want to, but get your Google My Business and your Facebook open and do work and follow up. Boldly ask people, hey guys, I'm trying to show that I follow through on what I get hired for. Would you mind giving me a Google review? And people will do it. They really will. And then the second thing would be the Facebook page. But along with and that's building up your resume. So the way you get started is I would go find real estate agents, insurance agents, go call on other CPAs, bookkeepers, and tax professionals and offer them your help. If you got any other questions here, I'd love to hear questions. And basically what you'll want to do is continue to just get reps under your belt and get Google reviews. As that occurs, all of a sudden you'll hit this point where you can upgrade and just so you know, this will never be this punched in again. You'll start having a resume and people want to hire you and it will work well. Questions? There's 7 of you. There's 2 thumbs up I got here. I'm running for 32 minutes. I think what'll happen is we'll start doing this. Like we just did this out of nowhere. And I know I'm real engaging, aren't I? Gosh, it's funny. My kids watch Mr. Beast and I don't know if you guys ever watch Mr. Beast? Nope. Like I had 19,000 subscribers. It's funny. Like I tell people like today, how many times I told like 2 people that are fellow entrepreneurs because they're in the bookkeeping world. And I'm like, yeah, I got this little YouTube channel. Got like 19,000 subscribers. And it's like, in the grand scheme of things, it's so small. Like I'm approaching 2 million views, which I think is pretty cool for being a big white dude with a giant head, a little overweight. I got 38-year-old bags under my eyes and just talking to people about pretty bland stuff. It's been fun to watch it head upwards and forward. Spec streaming, it says, thanks for the help. Absolutely. I'd love to just do more of these. We're starting a whole thing where we're going to interview contractors. We're going to interview other accountants and bookkeepers, and we're going to talk about what are the things that they face that are difficult. And hopefully we get a little bit, we get more questions. Does your course include tax? My course is how to build a business. I am not teaching how to complete tax courses, anything like go to udemy.com, UDEMY. Go to LinkedIn Learning. And if you want to learn how to complete a tax return, I've got a website here, ironically. We should see if it's even set up here. I've got a blog post on my website here, and it's called How to Prepare Taxes Professionally. And so Feedbackwrench, How to Prepare Taxes Professionally. And what you'll see is that go to these. Here we go. I'm going to put this in the chat, and I think this will be really helpful for you. Boom. And what that will do, there's a Senate race going on. I forgot about that. Tax law is about to change, folks. So that post right there, what that'll do, it will talk to you about how to get your tax stuff set up. What my course is is it's how to actually position yourself and do your business to add more value and win at the business. See, what people don't understand is that most accountants, and this isn't just a most accountant thing. I used to work at Best Buy, right? My dad is just retiring after 35 years at Ziegler. Let's just use this example because it's more interesting. We're going to have my dad on here a lot, and we're going to be talking about all sorts of things. But my dad worked at Ziegler, and Ziegler is the Caterpillar dealer here in Minneapolis. And we got another one here. The thing about Caterpillar equipment is that they're almost always 30% more money. There's a 30% price premium on every Cat machine versus Komatsu versus John Deere. And I grew up being taught by my dad, who Merlin Satram he's the wizard. His name's Merlin, which is the wizard, which is fun.
That's
right?
a cool name.
It is a cool name. Not as cool as Byron. I love Byron. Byron and Merlin. I've surrounded myself with epic names. My name is Byron. And yeah, it sounds like Marlboro Man. It's your name, Byron. It's absolutely great. Back to it. For some reason, government structures are built up to take the lowest bid machine and the lowest price bid. And yet over time, government structures start to choose Caterpillar equipment, even though they're 30% more expensive. And what you come to find out is that it's not necessarily about just the tractor, right? There's much more value to a contractor than just the machine. So first of all, Caterpillar machinery is usually almost always built by engineers. They're in a way, rather than being built by marketers, they're built by engineers. They tend to win in terms of durability, work done, efficiency. They genuinely do, but they don't always. Well, what you come to find out is that what makes Caterpillar, a Cat machine from Ziegler, the Cat dealer, worth it is that they have invested. You should see their parts department. They have more inventory in parts than you could possibly dream of. No other dealership comes close to having parts. Well, what do parts matter? Well, here's why parts matter. And this is where the reason why I'm bringing this up is the true value proposition to a contractor isn't just work done. And in the same way, your value proposition isn't getting tax returns done, doing them well, and whatnot. It needs to be about equipping their business to be more efficient. See, when you have a giant inventory of parts and a fleet of service trucks that can get you up the next day, you start to realize that to a contractor who's productive, he can save a ton of money about the first time that machine breaks, which machines break. So the first time that a paving company has this heavy machinery broken down and you have hot asphalt and a team of 20 guys, that $80,000 difference is literally, that's a rounding error. That means nothing in their book, but you have to train people to start to see that value. So if you just go in and you try and sell a Cat machine because it's faster, it's better, or whatever on the features of the product itself, if you just sell yourself as the features, you're always going to be a low margin. And in particular, you guys are even worse. And I mean this nicely. Accountants are even worse. You're doing a commoditized service, doing a tax return. Oh man, we finally got a couple more questions. This will be good. You're doing a commoditized thing. You're up against TurboTax. You're up against H&R Block. Give me a break. You will despise your business if you build your business based on tax returns. However, if you actually solve the problems in accounting, tax, and wealth that the business owner has, you will be, first of all, you will love what you do. There was nothing cooler. There's nothing cooler than adding huge value to a customer. You'll love your job more, and your customer will start to understand that you are saving them dearly. So that training and that course is what I'm training. Go get a cheaper course to understand how to do a tax return. I have no interest in fact, on that article that I linked, so it's in the description now or in the live chat of this thing. It will show you, go to the IRS, they have an annual training, go to H&R Block, Jackson Hewitt, they have training programs. Go to that. And then the second thing that I would do is NOLO Books. So NOLO, NOLO Books every year has a do-it-yourself small business, how to file your own taxes. So again, to the box. On one side, in a perfect world, you have an amazing accountant and a team of accountants that provide this business owner with the best services ever. And on the other side, he does it himself.
Where can we find your course, Rob?
So my course is, if you go to feedbackwrench.com in the upper right-hand corner, now that you say it, what do I pay you? Okay, I do. And up on the upper right-hand corner, there's a little button that goes to the course. And basically what it is it's coaching and training on it's this stuff. And we continue to put more information. I think it's at 21 videos. We're going to be pouring into that over and over and over again. But the reason why I bring that, so you ask, do I cover tax? No. Go to LinkedIn Learning, go to Jackson Hewitt, buy the NOLO books. The reason why I said on one side, perfect, and then on the other side, they do it themselves. Guess what? There's a whole entire ecosystem of resources that show dumb entrepreneurs like me how to do my own taxes. You could learn those books quite easily. So look up 1120S, just understand the basics of tax. Folks, you guys are incredibly good at getting in your own head, okay? Accountants in particular, and anytime you're in the financial world, you feel like you need some sort of secret knowledge or this giant resume, or I need an accounting degree, or I have to have my CPA. No, bull snot. What you need to do is help them save in taxes, do their work for them, make sure it's done right. You do need to be accurate. There is value in truth and consistency and like actual credibility, right? But what I've found is that there's enough resources to help the DIYer out there to get your feet wet. Go consume every single Business Tax for Dummies, QuickBooks for Dummies. Go read all that stuff and you will be set up. All right, so we got a couple more questions here. We've got spec streaming. I just received my enrolled agent certification. That's super cool. Way to go. I know that is kind of a beast. I had some friends get stuck in that. So way to go, spec streaming. And I have my degree in professional accountancy. My work experience includes 7 years of financial accounting. I want to transition to a tax as well as bookkeeping to get my feet wet. I will be a tax expert with Intuit. Great choice. I think that's the other thing, guys. Intuit, what the dirty secret about these big tax firms is that all they do is fill out software. Okay. So you either go to Thomson Reuters or you go to Intuit, Lacert. Like all they do is know exactly which part on that form. When it comes to a tax return, they're filling out a form. They're not doing anything, which is why they're the easiest people to sell against. Okay. I'm not saying that you're dumb. I'm not saying that you're bad or mischievous or anything like that. But the truth of the matter is the software drives the whole situation. So where should you go to learn how to do these tax returns? Go to Intuit, go to Thomson Reuters, go to the software companies. They have training. So he said, I don't know. So to get my feet wet, I will be a tax expert with Intuit. That's good. All right. So Lady Hawk, my iPad died and I missed the first part of your answer, but thanks for answering. What did you ask me, Lady Hawk? Lady Hawk, have I completed a bookkeeping course, but I'd like to start my own business, but I don't have experience. Oh yeah. You were asking, how do I get started while working full time? Go find real estate agents, 1099 income earners. And then I would reach out to other tax and accounting firm and tell them, hey, I tell you what, I'm a subcontractor and I do bookkeeping. I won't steal any of your clients or anything, but I would love it if you need some help doing your QuickBooks, hire me. So that's like the easiest job to get, because guess what? All these accountants, all these bookkeepers are too busy because they don't charge enough. There's a whole other conversation there. They're all so busy. So, but what I would like, the real fish in the barrel are real estate agents, and just give it away for inexpensive at first. Hey, and do year end. So the way you get started, help people with their year end. Hey, I tell you what, it looks like you're going to do your taxes. I could kind of help you out doing TurboTax. I'm not your tax filer, but I can help you do TurboTax. But I am a bookkeeper and I'd love to get your bookkeeping up. The other thing is if you just call people, guys, you're going to hear this over and over and you're going to roll your eyes. You're not going to like it. Call people, call every real estate agent. Real estate agents are hard because most of them don't make money. Call construction guys. Hey, I'm wondering, do you need a good bookkeeper? Because I'm a bookkeeper and I do QuickBooks. Just call them. Go on Google and call them, and call them 3 or 4 times. And if you can't find them, Write them a personal email, find their email on LinkedIn, message them on LinkedIn, and don't have it be stupid spammy. Hey, I see that your business is in Elko. I'm in Elko. Do you need a good bookkeeper? Like, it's rocket science. I did 150 small businesses in a year and a half. All you do is go intersect with people, go meet people, bumble around a little bit. Listen to some John Maxwell. You start realizing there are people all over the place, but you have to intersect into their life. Because here's another thing. I was talking about this with Ariel this morning. Nobody leaves their accountant. Nobody does. Most people have the same tax guy for a million years. Mm-hmm. There's no reason why. And the reason why is because they're scared of change and they don't like doing this in the first place. In a way, guys, you get to cheat. Like, you're doggone doing what the government forces them to do. And they're either going to do it on their own or they're going to hire somebody else to do it. And, but what I found was I totally got squirreled there because lady was talking. What was I talking about? It was going to be good.
Find 1099 people.
Finding it early.
Have a Facebook presence.
But call. You got to call and intersect into people's lives. It's cheating because nobody leaves their accountant. That's what I was on. Nobody leaves their accountant. Nobody leaves their tax guy. So you have to intersect, and you got to do it probably 2 or 3 months before the year end. And now I would say, don't be in the business doing tax returns. Don't be in the business doing bookkeeping. Be an outsourced accountant that adds value. That's what my course is about. Add that value where you help them in the 3 ways, and that will help you. And you can hook them. So if you get somebody, so I would say the 2 phases are get reps, just do small amounts of work for anything, get Google reviews and Facebook reviews, and then move on. All right. So I'm in an industry and want to transfer to public accounting so I can gain the skills to open my own firm. You guys are all the same. Don't gain the skills. Go to Jackson Hewitt tax training. Go to Intuit's bookkeeping training. Go to LinkedIn Learning and just start doing it. Again, this happened to me when I went to Thrivent Financial, okay? So I knew nothing in terms of in the grand scheme of stuff. I knew very little, but I became a learn-it-all, and I learned as much as I could about everything to do with investing that I possibly could, which brought me to the conclusion that perhaps I needed to call Vanguard and Schwab for cheap index funds. And what I found was getting the training for the DIYers is the best thing you can do, okay? So you don't need all this experience, okay? And I really mean it. You don't need it. Go help some people. Help learn by failing forward. You will learn more approaching a business owner and be like, Byron, you're a video editor that hardly made any 1099 income money this year because you had COVID hit you and you didn't do video full time. Can I do your tax returns for $150?
Sure.
They're going to say yes. You will learn more doing that than you will paying to go to school. Or going and getting. Now, you could go into a firm and learn the whole thing. The advantage of going into a firm is that you'll probably learn the operations. Here's the dirty little secret. You just learn the softwares. If you learn the softwares and the processes, it's not that difficult. And I'm not here to say that tax firms are bad. What I'm here to say is that what you're going to find is that you can acquire this knowledge and fail forward and build something cool rather than going into a firm. In fact, I know many accountants and CPAs that don't hire people out of other firms because they will come with more bad habits than good ones. I mean that. I mean that a lot. In fact, another thing that you'll see is if you guys get good at doing these tax analysis. So I always talk about doing the 3 steps meeting, right? So you prospect and you say, hey, I was wondering, could I buy you coffee or buy you lunch or just grab a phone call with you? I'd love to share what we do, hear what you do. I do tax planning and whatnot. Yeah, I'm cool. Okay. Well, now you just do it on the phone because COVID's here. But usually you do a connect meeting, then you do an analysis, and then you kind of do a take action. You have to drive everything to an actual analysis of their financial position and an analysis of that tax return. You got to get your grubby paws on that tax return. If you get your paws on the tax return, you're going to win. Okay. And what you'll find is as you do those analysis, doggone it, guys, there's so much diversity in how taxes are being done. You're going to find tax returns. You're like, a CPA charged you for this, and it's a CPA. Like, we were finding tax returns. Now, Nick was really good. The guys at Nuance are really good. And there's, Nick came from, so it's easy for me to say this, where Nick came from CBiz, a giant corporate firm. It certainly helps to understand. You could totally go get experience in a firm. It would be helpful. I often say, instead of going and getting your degree, go get a job in one of these firms. You will learn more being a grunt and coming up through an accounting firm, if they'll have you, than you will going and getting an accounting degree. I mean that. We're at a crossroads right now where I could go on a rant here about higher education. Higher education is about 3/4 nonsense, 1/4 productivity. It's good to have people like having you perform work on schedule and then diving into how did you do and like giving you a grade. There's value to that, and you will learn a lot. I'm not saying it's totally garbage, but it's a challenge right now. I don't know. So again, Louis, I like it. So I'm in an industry and want to transfer to public accounting so I can gain the skills to open my own firm. I would say go find people to just hustle on the side while you're doing what you're doing. I think you'll have more success. Do what I'm talking about. Read Mark Kohler's book, The Tax and Legal Playbook. Read Sandy Botkin's books about how to lower taxes. Go read the NOLO books, NOLO, about small business taxes, about how to do your own taxes. Go do the QuickBooks or the Jackson Hewitt training, the H&R Block training. Go get the QuickBooks training, do the IRS annual training program. You do those things next year, you'll be in position to start your own firm. You won't need any help. So I get what you're saying, but that's what I would do. Any other questions, guys? I'd love to hear them. We're going to end here in about 20 or 10 minutes here because I just totally started this. Louis says, hey, I took a QuickBooks accountant course, and then he said, I passed the CPA. Cool. I read Kohler's book. He'll do the tax training. That's cool, man. And I hope, just so you guys know, if you're an accountant and you're watching this, please email me. We are starting a really cool thing. And this is what I'm really excited about. I'm calling it Zip CPA. And this isn't just, so I made this course to kind of teach you how to sell value, A, B, and then, so how to sell value. And then the other thing is we're creating a network of small accountants where we can help each other with search engine optimization. So those of you that don't know, in order for you to start getting your website to rank, you have to create, your own website, make sure that it looks good and get it professional and everything. But that can be done pretty easily. But if you start to create content that answers relevant questions to your audience, like how to start an LLC in Minnesota, how to start an S Corp in Minnesota, you know that you don't need to answer that because it's pretty much the same as anywhere. But if you create these pieces of content that answer questions and you put them on your website and people read them and they're actually good, Google will start to serve it up for you. You'll start to get some results. And two things happen when you create content. So you want to create guides and answers for your potential customers on your website for two reasons. One, because that piece of content may get stumbled upon, and just like all of my videos and all of my content has helped our business grow. Or two, the other thing that will happen is Google just kind of, and Bing is the same way, looks at how you're doing and it kind of stereotypes you. It kind of says, oh, that site is about taxes and bookkeeping. Okay. And what it does is it assigns a relevancy to you. And the best thing you can do is create content that's relevant on your subject matter that people actually consume. So once you've done that, so what I'm doing it with Zip CPA is one of the things we are all going to build and write content together. And then the second thing we're going to do, without creating a backlink scheme or anything like that, but we're going to stick it to the big firm. Because right now I get tired that the only results Google serves up are from these magazines and from these bloggers. It's super frustrating. It should be you guys that get your articles served up in your state. That's who should be doing this. So what we're going to do is we kind of organize together. We're going to have a monthly topic that we write on. And then we're all going to read each other's content and we're going to highlight bits and pieces of it. And we're going to start sourcing that and adding that into our own material. So what that will do is show small votes of confidence between all of the people that are listening to this channel and anywhere else. And what it will do is it will help all of us build a network of backlinks is really what it is. And it's not a paid thing. What we want to do is we just want to collaborate. So alongside of that, we are also just doing inexpensive websites. So I'm setting up a system so we can do websites really inexpensive. But then also we're going to create basic tutorials on how to do it yourself. So Zip CPA is about three things. Mainly, it's about bridging the gap. I keep going like this. There's a screen of me up there so I can see myself. But we're going to bridge the gap between high-end services and do-it-yourself by providing tutorials on exactly how to do it. But then also we're going to organize together, and we are going to help all of us rank in our own states. Because the fact of the matter is, all you got to do is win about the 20-mile circle around you. And for the most part, in metropolitan areas, you're going to have a great business. If you do the model that I'm talking about, and then you win the local in about a 20, 30-mile radius, there's enough room. There's usually enough business going on for 3 or 4 different accountants to do the exact same thing in that area. But we got to stick it to these mega firms and these bloggers, and we have to start writing better content on our own and then helping each other. All right, so got another one here. It says, I am based in Australia and I'm still in high school in my final year. If I am unsuccessful finding a job at a firm after school due to lack of experience, is going to university worth it? When you consider university, what you need to consider is 2 things. One, well, here's what's valuable. University is mainly valuable because you're going to go into a system. They're going to say, produce good work on our schedule, learn, synthesize information, write, and produce work on task, on schedule, and we're going to hold you accountable. We're going to grade that. There's value in that, no matter where you do that, right? In a way, the free market of like, do people actually read your blog posts? Are the same. Every YouTube video I make is kind of the same type of thing. You guys tell me whether or not this is useful or not by how much you watch it, right? But in university, it's helpful to do that, to get feedback on the work that you produce. Produce work on schedule, execute, and there's value to that. So overall, that's what I think anything besides the sciences are very good at. Then you have there are degrees you should get because you get technical knowledge and you understand things. But generally speaking, that's what's going to happen. Now, getting a firm grasp of accounting, and that's valuable. Getting a very firm grasp on true accounting, T-charts, and understanding debits and credits is very valuable. Whatever you got to do to get that, that's what you need. That's the number one thing. Do you actually get it? You go to college. I know so many people that we would meet, go through college, and are clueless. Absolutely clueless. Like we at Nuance, I wasn't there when they were hiring them, but I've talked to guys and I know other people that have firms and they talk about it all the time that you go through a 4-year degree, you get done and you are dumb. You don't know how to do anything. And you thought you were. And all that happened was you got funny money from the government to buy it. So I would be very cynical about getting into higher education for accounting. What I would be very interested in is getting a 2-year associate's degree type of thing, going to a school that's going to give you the actual knowledge. And then I would go through all the trainings that I talk about. So head to my website, look up Feedbackwrench, how to become a professional tax person. And what I would do is, that's what I would do. If you want to start your own little business and do it that way, that's what I would do. Now, that's not every accountant. Every good big business has an amazing accounting team. So there are places, construction accounting is incredibly complex. You need to go to college for that. If you're going to get into any sophisticated, large firm, mega businesses, if you're going to get into publicly traded companies or special niches or special tax law, go to school. Absolutely. And here's the other thing. There is certainly a degree of prestige that you'll get. You will have an opportunity to be like every other lawyer that has no money, and you can buy a BMW and wear your sports car and live in debt and never have any money and work at a big firm. I'd be pretty cynical there, but it's funny. You meet all these attorneys, and then you start being around the financial planners who try and target the attorneys. And you start coming to the conclusion that most attorneys are broke. You don't have any money. You got a lot of debt, a lot of payments. But I think there's value to university. If you have your sights on becoming an entrepreneur and building a business, trying to find the most complex problem you can solve is incredibly valuable, right? So you could pick a niche and get into that. Again, if I were you, and I was going to get into more complex accounting and not necessarily have my own firm, but go work in a firm, I would start to understand like Sage 300, CRE, Sage 100. If you get into the construction world, construction accounting is incredibly lucrative right now, because construction happens no matter what. Even in a down economy, guess who needs to be there? The accountant for the construction company. And even in a down economy, when construction's down, things break. So as long as you're not only on like commercial businesses, you may be having the flexibility to do that. But what you can do is you could go learn Sage 100, Sage 300 CRE. You could get around these construction accounting and estimating softwares. But even there, go get some training, maybe go to a 2-year degree. And then what will happen is you'll be in position to go learn that software. Because again, the main thing that you're going to learn is that it's about the software more than anything, which then also makes you realize that the days are numbered for most of these transactions. As artificial intelligence gets better, I would anticipate that doing the bottom barrel work of accounting is going to be really unnecessary in about 10 years. That's not to say you shouldn't be an accountant. You still need great accountants. They're always going to be there. But this is why you don't want to be just doing the tax return or just doing the bookkeeping, right? You want to be adding way more value or understanding more complex problems. So I got Lewis also said, Rob, what about E&O insurance? Like, is it expensive or cheap? E&O insurance is actually pretty reasonable. I think it's a couple $100 a month if you get a pretty healthy coverage. Call an independent insurance agent. I really like independent insurance agents because they'll ask 3 or 4 providers. The fact of the matter in E&O is there's probably about 3 or 4 providers out there. There's not that many. From what I saw, it's kind of like you got your big players, and just get a quote. You'll have to decide on an amount of coverage that you're going to have. And so I don't know. People always say, is it expensive? Not for me. I mean, but for some smaller businesses, it might be it might be expensive. Some people think $200 a month is expensive. I don't think that's expensive. So I expect a couple $100 a month. And that's not bad. Any other questions here? Chat disconnected. Please wait while we connect you. Well, folks, it's 8:40 here. I had no idea I was going to do this. This is super fun. We're going to be starting a whole bunch of stuff here. Ask an Entrepreneur. We're going to start up helping people start their business, answering questions, telling stories. This live chat was kind of fun. This is the first time we ever did this. So God bless. Good luck. If you're watching this after, head to feedbackwrench.com. If you need a website or paid advertising or marketing, head to Zip CPA. It's not quite up yet. There's like a dummy site up right now, but we're developing that if you want good, inexpensive tutorials and how to either DIY or get affordable services for your accounting and tax firm. God bless. Good luck. Take care.